The Detroit Lions fell just short to the Buffalo Bills in Week 15, but now they get to travel to Chicago to take on the Bears, who just suffered another tough loss here on Monday Night Football. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 16 matchup between the Lions and Bears. But before we do that, if you like the content that we put out and you also are looking forward to a lot of 2025 offseason, hit that subscribe button and tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. Ryan, tough loss for the Lions here, but we'll get to the positives here in a second. But once again, just another devastating week when it comes to these injuries. It's almost kind of unreal, the amount of injuries that they're having, and some pretty fluke ones as well. Like we were just talking about the Khalil Dorsey injury as well. David Montgomery gets rolled on, and he's done for the season now with a torn MCL. I saw sprained MCL, then I heard torn MCL. Either way, he's having surgery, and he's done. Aleem McNeil.
He sprained other ligaments in his knee.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter really. At this point, he's having surgery, and he's done for the season. Aleem McNeil, he tore his ACL. He's done. Carlton Davis broke his jaw, of all things. It's kind of what we were talking about, too. It's like, it's not like it's a bunch of these, like, potential, like overwork injuries. It's these weird freak actions that keep happening. Aiden Hutchinson snaps his leg. Alex Anzalone, his arm gets pinned and he breaks his forearm. Who knows when he's going to come back? You have a couple other ones that, as well. Like the list is huge, but a lot of them are kind of these freak injuries. I guess most injuries are, but yeah, it's kind of one of those. It's like you have that next man up mentality. At what point is it like, oh, holy cow, like how many men do we have?
Well, and I'm going to knock on wood before I say this, but it's not like the Deshaun Watson one where it's like he just took a misstep and snapped his Achilles. Like it's like Aiden Hutchinson is going for a sack and gets spun around and snaps his leg on a Cowboys like offensive lineman. You have the who was it? Khalil Dorsey, who's trail coverage on a mesh concept. And him and Carlton Davis bang shins and his leg like wraps around Carlton Davis's. Like it's just these crazy like fluke things that are just totally derailing this Lions season.
Well, and I would say, and it's not even derailing to. So this is where I want to talk about the positives. I think one of the big things that from watching this game as well, and then talking about the aftermath of the injuries and everything, this team still put up 42 points. Jared Goff had an amazing game as well. Like everyone wants to talk about Josh Allen. Josh Allen had an amazing game, probably MVP of the season. Jared Goff went 38 for 59, nearly threw for 500 yards, had 5 touchdowns as well. Now, the team did not run the ball at all. They were behind for vast majority of the game. So it would have been very interesting to go and see what like this game would have been like if they would have been able to stay on pace with the Bills from the get-go. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, though, too, we all know how well the Lions can run the ball. Now they're going to be without David Montgomery. I don't think they're going to miss a step. Still feel like Jahmyr Gibbs – I feel like it's a perfect time to have Jahmyr Gibbs in fantasy if you're in the playoffs because he's about to have like 50 carries a game, but or 50 touches, I should say. But at the same time, though, too, now it's like the Lions can now show something similar to what the Eagles did as well. Is like, all right, they can go and beat you throwing the ball through the air as well. Jared Goff's already proven that before, but like it's just another reiteration. Like this offense can carry this team. Like this offense can absolutely do that. David Montgomery. Big knock on wood. Only real major injury that I can think of at the moment right now.
Khalif Raymond, not a major one, but Khalif Raymond got hurt earlier in the year.
It's nowhere near as major now because Tim Patrick has clearly stepped up and he's filled that role perfectly. So Taylor Decker has missed some time, yes, on the offensive line, but they still haven't missed a beat. Shoot, Dan Skipper, he's a receiving threat now for the team. So it's this Lions team. I can understand why people are freaking out because, as I said, like how many times can you keep telling yourself next man up? But at the same time, though, too, you guys still put up 42 points against the Bills defense that a lot of people going into this game have talked about how, well, I guess 2 weeks ago, because they've given up over 40 points the past 2 games, 2 very prolific offenses. But still, this Bills defense is still, I think, a pretty solid team. Yeah. Some of their stats are going to be a little bit inflated now just because of these past 2 performances. When you give up 445 yards and 559 total yards, your stats are going to be a little bit inflated overall. But in general, though, they've been a pretty. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 521 total yards of offense. Yeah, 521 total yards of offense, then 457 total yards of offense the past 2 weeks. Your numbers are going to be inflated. Typically, teams haven't gone over 300 total yards against them. So it's like this is still a good defense, I feel, that Lions just put 42 points up on. And they're going to be going up against a Bears team who has really struggled to put up 300 yards of total offense throughout the entire season. They've only done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times on the season. So half of their games, they're over 300 yards. The other half, it's under 300 yards. That's poor. That's very poor. They have one of the worst offenses in the league. I think they're going to be able to bounce back from this. I think all eyes is going to be on they still have to get through this game, which we'll talk about more. They're at San Francisco next week in week 17. I think all eyes going to be on that week 18 Minnesota game, which might be the highest scoring game that we might ever see. Just with the way both of these offenses are playing. But with this game, though, I think Detroit is still going to it's still going to be the more dominant team. I still think they're going to find ways. Darius Smith, looking back at it now, has been a great pickup overall for this team, and also offensively too. I think they're still going to be able to dominate this Bears team. From what you saw tonight, do you think this Bears team has the capability to slow down this Lions offense?
No. I just no. I don't know how else other to answer that. This Bears team, even with Matt Eberflus, we had kind of seen them start to take a nosedive after the midpoint of the season on both sides of the ball, and they just have gotten worse and worse since Matt Eberflus has left. It's all downhill from here for them, and I laugh because I remember all offseason, all we could talk about was how good of a landing spot this is for Caleb Williams, and he has performed the worst of all the rookie quarterbacks that have played any significant amount of time.
Well, yeah, he hasn't played great.
Well, sorry. Well, it is his performance in a nutshell. Like, the Bears have been the worst landing spot probably of all. Like, New England and Chicago are both really bad. Chicago might be in a worse state than New England at the moment.
Well, I think it goes to show of how an organization needs to be set up for success for a young quarterback to come in there and thrive. Let's go look at Denver and Bo Nix. And honestly, and you can even talk too about Commanders and Dan Quinn as well. Verdict still on Drake May and your Patriots. We all can see the talent on Drake May, but can the Patriots help him get there? So we'll talk about that later. But you go look at the systems that Sean Payton had put into place, and you have Bo Nix coming in, and you've seen him thrive and improve throughout this season as well. This offense has taken off. Commanders as well. Dan Quinn has been there and done that. As you know, I'm a Falcons fan. I am a big Dan Quinn fan. Cliff Kingsbury has been there, done that. They brought in good veteran groups of guys as well. He's brought over guys from Dallas to come in and also protect him as well. They've made good organizational moves. New ownership change, which is a huge improvement also for that Commanders team. And so they're coming up here and thriving for success. Caleb Williams, I think, still has the most talent out of all those guys. If I'm being honest, it's the highest ceiling. I would say that might be a better way to phrase it. And the personnel on the field, especially skill position player wise, I think is up there, if not better than those other two teams that I've mentioned as well. But Chicago Bears, they have been a losing franchise for some time now. Not trying to be insulting or anything, but there's a reason why. I still don't think they've had a 4,000-yard quarterback throughout their entire tenure. They haven't made too many deep runs in the playoffs. I'm trying to remember the last time they won the NFC North division. Was it the missed
last time they
goal?
made the playoffs? Mitch Trubisky was there, but I think they were a wild card. No, they did win the division that year.
Well, and that was when they missed the field goal, right?
Yeah,
I think it was. And so correct me if I'm wrong, but that's still been a second though for for this franchise.
It's been at least 6 or 7 years, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the last time the Falcons made the playoffs too. So trust me, it's a long time. So you need to have an organization that's set up for success. And as of right now, Eberflus was not doing it. We saw it with Justin Fields as well. Saying Justin Fields is not going to be. He was never going to be the guy, but I also don't think he was set up for success either.
No.
They've made good moves to get guys in there to make it possible to be successful for Caleb Williams, but you've got to get the coaching staff in there. You got to get the right overall philosophy in there as well. And so I think bringing a young offensive-minded coach this offseason, like a Ben Johnson, like a Bobby Slowick, get Joe Brady over there, I think that this would be very interesting. Or go the Commanders route, bring in Mike Vrabel, really lock down this defense, because there's also talent on this defense as well. And this Bears team, I think there's something that they just need to unlock. Because even, too, before the bye for Chicago, they had only given up 322 total yards of offense. That was the most that they had, and that was against the Rams team. Rams team was banged up there in Week 4, but still, it's still the Rams. Since then, the lowest they've given up was 328, and that was against, I think, your New England Patriots. They only gave up 329 tonight, but it was kind of a blowout. Like, I don't think Minnesota was going full throttle there, and towards the end of the second half. So I think it could have been much worse. For some reason, they started to give up a lot of yards. And that's where I think my biggest concern for this Bears team coming into this game is you have this Lions team who's going to be hearing all week how they're losing momentum. They just lost to the Bills after they put up 42 points. I think the Lions are just going to come in and throttle them. They have the right leader for the organization, and we've seen the success that they've had over the past couple of years. And I think they're going to want to have a statement win. And this Bears team they are not meshing right now because they don't have a leader. And I mean leader as a coach. I think Caleb Williams and I think some of these other guys can become those locker room leaders, but you need to have like a coach leader first. You need to have your face of the organization and that front office leadership, which they don't have right now.
Yeah, and that for me is like this kind of feels like a professional basketball team is going up against like a pickup squad right now. Like the Bears are trying to scramble to find pieces and they don't have any structure. They don't have that organizational structure that the Lions do have. And part of the reason why the Lions have had success through all these injuries is that organizational structure. They're relying on more than just guys to go out there and make plays. There's a system that everyone's following. That is leading to success for them. And that's why I'm also going with the Lions. Even with the injuries, I feel like this Bears offense could come in and do better. I still, even like watching bits and pieces of the game tonight, Caleb Williams is like almost refusing to like make plays in structure. And it's getting like, I don't know if Bears fans feel the same way, but like it's getting frustrating to watch because he is just, and part of it is the Bears offensive line sucks.
That's what I was going to say.
Playing well. But he is like, it sometimes feels like they try to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and then he just like doesn't throw it. Like he just holds on to it and tries to make a big play. And it's like you have to you can't go broke taking a profit, and you have to do that in the NFL. And that's going to be interesting going forward. Is can this Bears offense get Caleb Williams to play more in phase? And like obviously there are a lot of other issues, and I'm talking about bigger picture, not 2025. But I do think the Bears could come in and have decent offensive production with big plays down the field. I just don't know if that's going to be enough. It's going to be too few and far between to have success.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I was saying is who's going to be the coach that they bring in the offseason, because you have Caleb Williams in there. Makes me lean more to a guy that I think can groom this quarterback. And for example, you go look at Minnesota, who they just played tonight. Kevin O'Connell has done an amazing job.
Johnson.
He's done an amazing job, like getting Sam Darnold. Like he's going to make Sam Darnold a lot of money this offseason because of Kevin O'Connell. Yeah. We all knew the talent was there, and it helps too when Justin Jefferson's your number one receiver. But I digress. You need a coach like that can come in and help teach Caleb Williams like how to be an NFL quarterback. So I think Ben Johnson would be a great guy. Now, would he want to go to Chicago after going to Detroit? Maybe there's too much bad blood there, but there's still a lot of other, I think, good potential candidates that could come into Chicago. And I think it's the hottest spot, in my opinion, because you're coming in to like a talented team that just had no direction. So it's going to be interesting, I think, what happens with Chicago this offseason. But yeah, we're both picking Detroit here in this one.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Lions? Will it be the Bears? Other than that, we will see you guys next time.